evening and welcome to Vibrant Hong Kong. I'm Mishi.
And I'm Erica. Good evening, everyone.
With Hong Kong returning to normal, we're once again welcoming tourists from all over the world. I've noticed that it's become livelier everywhere recently, be it our scenic spots, theme parks, or shopping malls. The bustling atmosphere is giving me the travel bug, but since I'm so busy right now, I might have to settle for a staycation.
Speaking of staycation, service is crucial to a hotel's success. After arriving in Hong Kong, the first place travelers usually go to is the check-in counter at the hotel. So the quality of the accommodation and the service attitude of the staff are of primary importance. The sustainable development of enterprises has become a trend in recent years, with companies putting more emphasis on ESG, which stands for environmental, social, governance than ever before. This is also the case in the hotel industry.
That's also why some hotels have included a lot of green elements into their operations. Apart from room design, there are also thoughtful initiatives such as donating food, recycling kitchen waste, and using drinking water purification technologies that encourage guests to go plastic-free. Let's take a look at how some of these practices are implemented at the following hotel.
The sustainable development of enterprises has become a new trend in recent years. Consumers, overseas investors, and the capital market are placing more emphasis on ESG, which is short for environmental, social, and governance. This boutique hotel in Wan Chai has been a front-runner in the trend since opening in 2021. Not only was the building designed to be sustainable, but the hotel has embedded ESG elements into various aspects of its business, from guest experience to daily operations.
This is our central room.
Occupancy is good today.
Very good.
Edward is the general manager of this hotel. He leads his team in the implementation of a holistic ESG policy.
I think traditionally hotels are have a relatively high impact on the environment in a certain sense. We use a lot of electricity, water waste, garbage, all that stuff is created quite substantially in hotels. So I think any focus on improving those aspects will benefit the hotel. A key one that we do here is our water filtration plant that we use. We bottle our own water. By doing that on site in 2022, we saved using about 210,500 ml bottles. So this is a real big contribution. So we have no garbage creation, we have no garbage collection, no transport, all that by using that water filtration. So we also use that for the restaurants, so this has been very, very good. Another, in terms of the restaurants, we have a food waste processing system that basically mimics the human digestion system effectively and creates the food leftovers, turns into waste water that goes out through the filter to the normal wastewater system. So all these aspects are contributing quite significantly.
In addition to being environmentally conscious in its daily operations, the hotel itself is a LEED certified green building, meaning that it has met international standards in terms of sustainable design, construction, and energy efficiency performance. However, the focus on environmental sustainability is just one part of a holistic ESG framework.
Besides pay attention to the environment, we implement the measures to enhance the social responsibility by supporting the local communities, promoting the diversity and inclusions. For example, the hiring partner, the local charities, and offering the employee volunteer programs like Food Angels and St. James Settlement. Overall, to prioritizing ESG can help to create a positive company reputations and attract the employee and customer who share the same values.
So when I choose a hotel, I would look at price, view, location, and amenities. But as a millennial myself, I also want to choose a hotel that's aligned with my own personal values and ethics. So if there are two hotels and one hotel has a better sustainability rating than the other, then I would choose that hotel with the sustainability rating.
Consumers play an essential role in driving ESG development. By supporting companies with sound ESG values through selective consumption, we can create a better world for ourselves as well as the next generation.
What a wonderful experience staying at a hotel while contributing to environmental protection. With Hong Kong committed to achieving net zero emissions by 2050, more of these planet-minded projects adopting innovative technologies are going to be hatched in the days to come.
We've all heard about ESG in recent years, but what exactly is ESG and how are ESG measures implemented in real life? To tell us more, we have Andrew Lau, Director of ESG Advisory for Asia at Collier, in the studio tonight. Welcome, Andrew. It's a real pleasure having you on Vibrant Hong Kong.
Thank you, Michi. Thank you, Erica, for having me here today.
So, Andrew, I know that you're an engineer by training. How is your job related to ESG?
Although I'm a professional engineer by training, but I'm always in this ESG and sustainability industry for the past almost 20 years. And currently, I'm leading my company in ESG advisory service for our clients to help our clients to build a robust ESG framework as well as a decarbonization roadmap.
Sounds like a very cool job you have.
Yes, it sounds really intriguing. So can you tell us more about what ESG actually is and why is it such an essential consideration for investors and businesses today?
ESG is actually stands for environmental, social, and governance. It is a management matrix for a company to manage their risk. My department is actually under the valuation advisory team, which actually will integrate ESG into valuation chain. So when investors look at to invest in a company, they will look at the ESG index to understand how they perform in ESG. And for a lot of listed companies, the ESG being weighted by some of the public listed platform, so the investors can refer to them when they make their investment decision. And company with a stronger ESG performance tends to outperform their peers in short term and long term in terms of financial.
Wow, so ESG performance might be a great indicator of company success, right? I'd also like to know about Hong Kong's regulations. How does Hong Kong's regulatory environment and financial landscape support the growth and integration of ESG principles in investment and business practices?
Hong Kong has a very clear direction to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. Even though Hong Kong doesn't have a lot of regulation in place yet, but they are helping each company on their ESG journey by giving some of the incentive, as well as helping them with some guidelines so that companies can follow.
Right, motivation is very important.
It does sound very promising. So what are the initiatives has the Hong Kong government introduced recently to encourage ESG adoption and reporting among public companies? Can you discuss the role of Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing Limited in promoting ESG disclosure and transparency in the region?
Yes, Hong Kong Exchange has mandated a listed company to report their ESG reporting since 2016. And currently, they are requesting all the listed company to report according to TCFD framework by 2025. It's actually giving a very good opportunity for all this listed company to review their carbon-related financial risk, such as the physical and transitional climate risk, as well as their decarbonization roadmap. Such that each company can make their mitigation plan to mitigate all this risk so that they won't become a crisis down the road when we are transitioning into a low-carbon economy.
That sounds very fascinating.
Yes, it sounds like ESG really helps manage risk, right? So how do ESG criteria help investors make more informed and responsible investment decisions?
Yeah, ESG has a lot of elements within it. And when the company look into their ESG performance, they will look into how well they do in terms of carbon emissions, such as the energy consumption, waste generation, as well as how they manage their indoor air quality, the social aspect, how they help to construct a health and well-being environment, how to manage their risk associated with the community, how to engage all the stakeholders, such as the tenants for a landlord, as well as all the needed in the society together to do some meaningful projects to accelerate their performance and help them to have a better environment and better life. So all this combined, a company have a lot of investment to make. And a lot of the times, companies will rely on the more innovative technologies and also innovative management strategies so that they can achieve this target in a more effective way. And our role is actually helping this client discover this opportunity so that they can accelerate their program.
So it sounds like environment is one of the priorities for ESG policy making, right?
Yes, it is, but I think it's a combination, and there's a lot of elements integrated together from environment and social and governance. So sometimes a company will need that or didn't play a lot of effort in the social and governance topic, but nowadays I think environmental becomes like a very essential element already, and a lot of the companies and buildings in particular, they will be eager to do more on social and governance topic.
Right, very comprehensive planning, right?
It's very essential. So what are some common ESG-related risks that companies face, and how do they mitigate it?
Yeah, I think the most common ESG-related risk will be climate risk, including physical and transitional risk, as well as the reputational risk. So in climate risk, there are two sides. For the physical risks, such as there will be tsunami or a stronger typhoon, more heat wave, and sea level rise. Those will impact a company and their asset performance. And so that they need to do some mitigation plan, such as build a, let's say if there is a close by the sea for a building, they can put some water mitigation measures so that they can avoid any flooding situation in the future. And for transitional risk, it's more about decarbonization. So if a company that plan to decarbonize to achieve carbon zero or carbon neutral somewhere down the road, let's say 2040, 2050, so they already know what they are doing, and they will put associated CapEx into consideration in their business plan, so that in future they won't become in a surprise and how are they able to achieve carbon zero somewhere down the road. And in terms of reputation, I think this is another angle we need to consider when we build an ESG framework. And it's very important for a company to have that in place to attract a quality talent. As I mentioned about the more innovative technologies nowadays being implemented, it actually demanding a better quality people as well. So the smarter the system, the smarter the people need to become. And if the company with our ESG framework, they usually will need some of the very important factors such as health and well-being, or how to build a social or like stress-free environment for the people that work for them.
So what you're saying is that not only investors and customers are concerned with the ESG, but how should I say it? Employees are most likely to quit if companies aren't able to provide a good working environment.
Yes, correct. I think the tenants or the quality employees nowadays, they don't just select a company based on salary. Salary is one part, but quality of their work, the workplace environment, how the company treat diversity and inclusion, how the company help them when they need. Let's say when they got stressed or when they are sick, how is the company able to help them on their journey? I think those becomes very important considering factor when a quality talent selected company. And there is a lot of aspect in a company can do. In the environmental side, we mentioned about the energy efficiency, but there's also an aspect about indoor air quality, which will impact a person's health. In terms of health and well-being, nutrition, for example, like how we eat healthily every day, how we drink like very high quality water, and how we are able to manage our stress, have an opportunity to exercise, no need to sit at the desk like now as a day.
Right. So ESG has been a hot topic over the past years. You're the expert here. We'd also like to know what are the most significant ESG trends you've observed in the recent years, and how do you see them evolving in the future?
Yeah, I think a lot of companies, and particularly in developers, like in real estate, one of the biggest sectors in Hong Kong, they are aware of the need for an ESG program. So it's been evolved for the past 10, 20 years. So in the past, I think it's not a lot of people talk about it. And when we mention about sustainability and ESG, they only think about environmental aspects, such as energy savings or how to do waste management. But right now, the trend has changed. So people know that this aspect have a lot of interaction with the social side. So the landlord and the developers, they are more eager to engage their, let's say, the tenant or other stakeholder on this decarbonization program by offering some incentive, such as like virtual dollars, when they participate in some of the waste reduction program or energy savings, so that they become a win-win situation. And this is very important because when the people are aware of the need to decarbonize, they will have a longer effect down the road. So they understand the need to recycle, they understand the need for energy saving so that they won't complain the air conditioning is not cold enough, for example.
Right.
So these are very important measures that company nowadays is implementing. And I think the trend in the future is how to integrate all this with technologies. So buildings or like companies, they will equip more IoT and artificial intelligence technologies, and how this interact with the stakeholders and the environment, facilities, etc. So this becomes the key to success in the coming near future.
It certainly sounds like there's a broadening of spectrum in terms of ESG policy making, right?
So how can Hong Kong further enhance its position as a regional leader in ESG practices and sustainable finance?
I think it's important to start with our own journey. ESG as a whole cannot be done by the policy or just the government. It has to become like everybody's job. So I think education is one of the key elements. If everybody is on track and on pace to understand the need to decarbonize, the need to conserve our environment, the need for a more harmony society, then everyone will succeed. And in order for Hong Kong to become the leader in the region, I think we have to understand the journey of our peers countries, such as Singapore, for example. So they have implemented very good environmental policy and program in place, such as how to recycle wastewater into their household water, so that they are less dependent on the natural water consumption, as an example. If we are able to implement more of our own circular economy, our own decarbonization journey, I think a lot of investors are willing to come in Hong Kong to invest on those projects so that to accelerate our own program and to become a showcase for the peers country to reference. And this will become a very meaningful way to take the leadership in sustainable finance as well, because investment is all about return. When we see the actual results in our own place, the investor will have a stronger confidence when they invest with the technologies that come from Hong Kong.
Thank you for sharing, and all the best to your future projects.
Thank you very much, Erica.
Well, we certainly hope that Hong Kong continues to be a leader in the ESG arena. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and insights with us.
Thank you, Michelle.
Staying at a cozy hotel while on holiday is definitely a good way to relax and recharge. Meanwhile, practicing yoga can also soothe the body and soul. A large-scale yoga event was held in Hong Kong in mid-June to celebrate the International Day of Yoga. Let's take a look at some of the highlights together.
For those of you who enjoy working out and are passionate about staying fit may notice that every June, many yoga brands and teachers prepare a series of events. This is because June 21st is the International Day of Yoga, a day dedicated to promoting the practice of yoga worldwide.
The International Day of Yoga, organized by the Consul General of India, Hong Kong, is finally back this year, and it is all happening in person. Despite the rain, hundreds of us are here today taking part in it.
All participants are receiving a t-shirt and a yoga mat. Today, all of us gathered at the Sun Yat-sen Memorial Park to practice yoga together. I'm going to give it a try too. Yoga has become quite popular these days and is now a widely practiced form of exercise, especially during the hot summer months when it's not a good idea to do anything too intense. Yoga's postures and breathing exercise are great for calming the mind and body. Practicing yoga can help you feel relaxed and peaceful. But after completing several sets of yoga poses, it started to rain and the event had to end early.
It's absolutely okay. You know, it gave us a reason to come out today, enjoy this weather, and do rain yoga, which we have never done. So you got to look at positives in everything, I guess. And the message was really good. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That message, like the whole world as a family.
A lot of yoga teachers in Hong Kong are Indian. So you're quite strong community. And I think some of these events bring us more closer. So my friend is here, all of us are here, just to bring that community feeling more stronger.
We'd like to try because this is new to me. This is my first time here.
Because I have seen the picture from the internet. Oh, the yoga in the past year is quite funny in the open area.
The organizers, the Consulate General of India in Hong Kong, expressed their hope that through today's large-scale event, more people will come to know and appreciate the culture of yoga.
Breathing is everything. The emotions, whatever emotions. When you're going to be happy, what do? You just like smile, ha ha ha. So what do? You throw a lot of carbon dioxide outside. When you're going to be just like angry, what do? You try to be getting shallow, so your heart rate automatically increases. So this is like not good for the body. So emotions is controlled by breath. So in yoga, what we just like do to is we control the breath to control the emotions. It's the other way around. That's the reason like yoga, we call it as like mind body. So when brain is going to be getting enough amount of oxygen, normally it knows what to do, what not to do, what to speak, what not to speak. It's a very simple thing.
All the commercial and marketing, you can see all the fancy posts. So today, the International Day actually is to remind us yoga is for everyone.
For all of you city folks out there, if you're looking to clear your head and stretch your body a bit amidst the hustle and bustle, practicing yoga might just be the perfect choice for you.
Erica, as we step into July, the seasonal flu is set to rear its ugly head again.
That's right, Mishi. One way of protecting ourselves is to wear a mask when in crowded places. The flu is mainly spread by droplets that are released when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or talks. In Hong Kong, it's most common from January to March and from July to August.
Masks have been a necessity for Hong Kongers over the past few years, and the demand for them led to many business opportunities during the early stages of the pandemic. Some people joined the mask manufacturing industry, while some local mask production companies set up factories in Hong Kong to help alleviate the shortage domestically and even abroad.
With COVID subsiding, a decline in the demand for masks is inevitable. This may pose a challenge to our local mask manufacturers.
COVID has finally come to an end. As the Hong Kong government lifts the mandatory mask wearing requirement, everyone can choose whether to wear a mask according to their own needs. Over the past 3 years, masks have been a necessity for us. They were sold in shops, pharmacies, and almost everywhere. The huge demand led to the availability of all kinds of masks in the market. Local manufacturers grabbed the business opportunity and started mass production. This mask factory was set up in 2020. When COVID was at its peak, the factory produced up to 300,000 masks a day. The company's CEO says they had already taken into consideration that demand would eventually decline when they set up the factory.
During the peak period, we employed over 300 employees and more than 40 production lines, produced over 300,000 masks every day. Our daily mask production capacity is around 150,000 now. There are 20 production lines now, continue supplying the masks to people all around the world. We guess in the late 2022, we observed that sentiment in the society that people started to adapt COVID. Once the mandate was lifted, some of people will feel happy to no wearing any more masks.
Starting a business in Hong Kong is very competitive, and it's important to maintain operation. It is crucial to be flexible and sustainable.
The number of competitors was decreasing as time goes on. And now I think only less than 10 factories in Hong Kong. Our products have great risk that we cannot sell more. So actually we have to cut down the costs, reducing the production lines. We want to survive, to keep producing the masks. We are not cut production line to stop the company. We want to save the budget and save the company.
During the pandemic, many related healthcare products were produced in addition to masks. This mass production factory has already switched to producing air purifiers and disinfection robots. The robot was developed, designed, and manufactured in Hong Kong. Currently, there are about 30 local and international orders a month. The robot is selling well in Japan. The team has forecast that even after the pandemic, the demand for better hygiene will remain the same. So, they will be investing in hygiene-related products even in the future.
To keep a business running, it's essential to stay vigilant and pay attention to market trends. Having a sense of prices, flexibility, and a keen eye can help you find business opportunities even under the most adverse conditions.
Our guests today possess those exact qualities. What's more, they're also experts at analyzing situations and seizing opportunities. We've invited Mass Factory co-founder Melanie Choi and senior engineer Tylor to tell us about what they've been developing in recent years and what's it's like working with each other. Hello, Melanie and Tylor. And we also have these really cute robots with us today, which I know they were manufactured and developed in Hong Kong. So, Tylor, can you walk us through and demonstrate what makes these robots so special and unique?
Well, great. So allow me to introduce, this is Rice. So this is our 4th generation robot. And in front of me, this is the delivery variant, which, as you can see, there's a huge compartment in there, which allows you to put in anything you like, ranging from parcel, food, drinks, or even documents and mails. Just put it in there, and it will deliver to the recipient swiftly. Another variant is the disinfection variant, which is over there. So as you can see, there are 2 ears up there, which allows it to spray disinfectants wherever it goes and sanitizes the environment.
What an entrance.
Yeah, so when we're designing the robot, 2 things are baked into the robot. First is intelligence. So you just have to bring it, walk around the whole venue for once. And it memorizes the whole venue, and then it can walk around like a normal person would. And the second thing we baked in it is obstacle avoidance, which when someone is standing in front or maybe a chair or something is in front of it, it will stop and then find our way around the obstacle. Mm-hmm. So this is what makes our robots quite special.
Okay, so not only they're adorable and they're so smart and practical as well, right?
You're right. I mean, they're so cute. I love to take them home and keep them as pets. But I don't have a mansion, so I can't keep all of them at home, right? But I love to use Rice to, store some of my secrets. Anyway, Melanie, I know that your company has been producing masks for years. And with the pandemic subsiding, mask factories have had to change the nature of their business and find other ways to survive, right? So how did you come up with the idea of developing disinfection robots with other companies?
First of all, Rice has a great idea in the disinfection robots and also the delivery robots. However, they may lack of production experience in Hong Kong. We Safewell has a comprehensive manufacturing base, R&D, internal laboratory, all in Hong Kong. So we believe that we have the ability to help them to redesign the robot parts and also move the production line from mainland to Hong Kong, and also make the whole manufacturing process more efficient.
Was it difficult to move the factories from mainland to Hong Kong?
In the beginning, it's quite hard to set up all the things, but we have already some mass production facilities built in there. So we just add on something, then we can produce another projects like the robots.
Tylor, I know that there are already engineers and product designers in your robotics team. So why did you choose to partner with Melanie's Mask Factory to manufacture robots? And why did you have the confidence in the Mask Factory?
Well, I think mostly 2 reasons. First is that, as our company started out, we gained incredible traction, and we have our robots deployed, across Asia. And at some point, there's a question we're asking ourselves, like, how do we lower the cost? The Safewell team is, they're experts in industrial design and manufacturing, and they gave us a lot of, valuable insights and suggestions on how to do that in terms of in hardware and also manufacturing. So we think they are a really good partner. The second reason is that we as a Hong Kong startup, we have our products, as mentioned, sell across Asia. So we prove that we have the capability to produce a world-class product. So, however, when we look around Hong Kong, there isn't really that much manufacturers locally. And we set a challenge to our Rise Robotics team and Xavier team, say, like, can we also manufacture them in Hong Kong? And we think this is a small step for our team, but then it would be a huge step for the Hong Kong local industry.
I admire your vision.
It surely sounds like you've found a match and you really have that trust between you and your collaboration. So, Melanie, I know that your company has transformed pretty quickly and successfully. So from the moment you realized that you had to diversify, how long did it take for the new product to enter the market? And what are the advantages of your respective companies that benefit each other?
Our team are very passionate about the new projects. So normally it takes around half a year from R&D to the final product or even commercialize it to the market. I guess we are very open and willing to try new technologies. For example, in Rise, this case, we fully utilize the 3D printing technology. We from the traditional pass molding process to 3D printing. A few hundreds robot parts inside are done through the 3D printing now. So it's largely shortened the R&D lead time and give us more rooms to enhance the functionalities of the robots. And also we have more new models coming. For example, the 360 petrol robots.
So Hong Kong is a very competitive market, right? So having a good partner can help the business grow. What should a company pay attention to when choosing a collaborator to ensure a win-win situation? And how important are partnerships in business expansion, Melanie?
I think we are looking for some synergies with the companies that we collaborate with. For example, Rise is a robot pioneer in Hong Kong, and we have our expertise in manufacturing and R&D. So we combine the talents and technologies to achieve the win-win situation.
Win-win situation.
Yes. That's a cool word. Well, I've actually been to Cyberport and I've seen these robots, you know, personally. And I see that they're being deployed in places such as local shopping malls, like I said, Cyberport, to help create cleaner public spaces. So how many robots have you sold in Hong Kong so far? And Tylor, what's your opinion on the local demand for public hygiene?
Well, first of all, I think we are deployed around, our robots at around, I think, 500 locations in Asia. And so mainly in office buildings, they want some delivery functions. And in shopping malls and public areas, they would like more of a disinfection variant. And so in terms of the hygiene awareness, I think we noticed that in the society that there's a sentiment that people getting used to COVID. Right. And in a way that they make peace with the COVID. And a lot of people assume that, well, that must be a huge blow to your disinfection robot sales, right? We think that's not the case. If you look back at the post-SARS period, people just have the habit of, wash their hands thoroughly before each meal. We noticed the same trend after COVID, which people has, care about the hygiene and stuff. So actually, a lot of customers are still inquiring about the disinfection robots.
Speaking of which, I've actually seen some of these robots in malls before. So I'm just wondering, how did you notice this market's need? And how did you adapt or design the robots to match it?
Well, that's a great question. So, at the start of the pandemic, we just, investigate physics of how COVID is being transmitted. So it turns out it's transmitted by aerosols. So like when someone sneezes or cough, the viruses are small enough to be carried by water droplets in the air and transmitted elsewhere. So the solution is kind of simple. We can just install air filters in the shopping malls, right? But then it's not very practical because you have to install air filter every 5 or 10 meters. That's not really feasible to do so. So you need something that can walk around, like an air filter that can walk around the shopping mall. And our team at Rise Robotics, we think, wait a minute, we have got the solution, right? Because our robots can already walk around the place freely. So what about we put some disinfectant in there and sanitize the environment as it goes. So that's how our disinfectant robots has been made. But then we didn't stop there. We made 3 optimization for the task. The first one is we ensure the battery is large enough to run throughout the day, having at least 15 to 22 run time on a single charge. The second is that we made the disinfectant tank to be large enough to hold disinfectant for at least 1 month usage. So that because you don't want to refill the tank every couple of hours, right? And the third one, and most importantly, we make it a really cute and approachable design, so that when it's deployed at some hotels or maybe shopping malls, people won't be intimidated by it. Like they want to touch it and just want to talk with it, play with it,
Right, I see quite some similarities between the robots and me. Not only in terms of cuteness, but I also work under a 20-hour schedule, so I have the same battery life. But I know that the robots are getting popular in Hong Kong, but as the introductory video mentioned, your robots are also selling out well in Japan. We all know that in Japan, it's not easy to prevail in such a competitive market. Why do you think, what do you think prompted the success of your robots in Japan?
Well, a lot of people assume there's a secret in entering the Japanese market, but we don't really think so. So there's basically two reasons for entering the Japanese market. The first one is that Japanese are known for their craftsmanship and creativity. So Rise Robotics has a belief that we want to unleash human creativity by offloading the repetitive and time-consuming tasks. So in Japan, we do exactly that. We let the Japanese do whatever they do best, and we, alleviate their repetitive task and groundwork. So that's the first thing we do. Second thing is that Japan has, our aging population problem. So I think for 15 consecutive years, the Japanese population has been declining, and it's around 120 million right now. But if you look at the workforce, it's even half of that. So around 60 million people are working. So you can imagine, companies can't hire enough workers. Even if they could, it would be incredibly expensive. So we price the robots at around, 2 to 3 months cost of hiring a worker. So it'll be affordable for companies. And combined with that, we have, not so secret formula for the Japanese market.
Right. Please don't make TV host versions of the robots because we might get replaced someday.
And I know that besides disinfection, they also have this delivery service, right, function?
Yeah.
Yes, I know that in Japan, a lot of convenience stores find this really useful. So can you explain a little more about this delivery function?
So delivery service, we always have a goal, which is to bring convenience to customers and bring additional sales to shops and merchants. And in the case of, Japanese office buildings, there are often some restaurants and convenience stores, as you say, located at, somewhere like ground floor or the first floor of the office building. So what Rise does is that when the customer places the order, the food is ready or the product is ready, and the staff will put the item inside Rise. And Rise will deliver it to the customer. And if it needs to take an elevator, it would take the elevator. Just whatever it has to do, it just gets to the customer themselves. There's also one thing I want to highlight. That is that you notice throughout this process, the internal sales of the merchants have been increased, and also the customers, notice they don't have to do anything. They just sit back and wait for the items to be delivered to them. And similarly, we do that in hotels in Japan also. For example, when, say, a customer wants a towel, so they just call the front desk, I need a towel, hey. And then the staff will put the towel inside, and the Rise will take the elevator to the guest room. So same, you notice that the operating cost of the hotel has been decreased because you don't need as many staff or bellboy to run around the building all the time. And also the customer gets served instantly.
So these robots have really good positive feedbacks.
That's true.
Thank you so much, Melanie and Tylor. We wish you all the best as you continue to develop more high-tech products for both the local and overseas markets.
Thank you, Melanie and Tyler. I hope to see more and more of these robots in Hong Kong and internationally. So the Hong Kong International Dragon Boat Races were held last week in celebration of Twin Ng Festival. After a 4-year hiatus, Victoria Harbour was once again filled with cheering crowds and excitement. Vincent was there to catch all the action.
Vibrant colors and joyful cheer filled Victoria Harbour on the final weekend of June. The paddlers gave it their all as they raced to the beat of the drum to the finish line off Tsim Sha Tsui East Promenade. The Hong Kong International Dragon Boat Races took place for the first time in 4 years, kicking off a series of summer events in our city. More than 160 teams comprising around 4,000 dragon boats athletes participated in this adrenaline-pumping competition jointly organized by the Hong Kong Tourism Board and the Hong Kong China Dragon Boat Association. After 4 years, it's very exciting for the return of the International Dragon Boat Race. We have Mr. Dane Cheng here. How do you feel about this significant event?
Well, it's indeed very exciting for us to see so many participants come back to Hong Kong. There's 4,000 of them, 1,000 from overseas. You know, this iconic harbor to do this modern dragon boat racing. Actually, this time we had a couple of world very top participants to come. And in Hong Kong, we are the very first to host this kind of international event since more than 40 years ago.
I've tried dragon boating once before, and it was a great teamwork experience. All the rowers had to be in sync, not to mention the physical stamina required. We challenged ourselves on the water and had an exhilarating time together. While the sport originated in China over 2,000 years ago, it has since spread to different corners around the world. Countries such as Australia, Thailand, and the Philippines are dragon boat racing veterans that have brought their national teams to compete in this year's international event in Hong Kong.
We're already here to perform and glad to see all the, not only the international club teams, but also the local teams here in Hong Kong. So we are very privileged for the invite or the invitation from the Hong Kong Dragon Boat Association. So thank you.
We have many different age divisions, and the Premier Division are the ones that have come to Hong Kong. And for the World Championships that we're working towards, we have 300 athletes currently training for that, aging from around 14 years old to maybe in their 70s.
Really good. Today, just on the water then, it was a lot of fun.
How are the waters in Hong Kong different than the ones in Australia?
Well, they're significantly different. In Australia, we generally paddle on flatter water. Here, it's like paddling on a roller coaster. Great fun though.
It looks pretty flat out there to me though. What are some challenges that would be there?
Give you my paddle and you should come out and just see how flat it is out there.
Team Poland are first-timers at this competition. Compared with other places, dragon boat racing is a relatively new sport in the country.
Dragon boat is more funnier to swim. Yeah, it's a lot of people, 20 people at one boat. Yeah, it's a tug of war. It's quite similar, but it's harder to swim.
There was also a fancy dress competition for local and mainland participating teams, which saw paddlers dress up in fun and creative costumes, adding to the festive fun.
Our team members are mainly from the Canadian company in China. Fruity is everyone's love, so we choose this costume.
Does the costume help you guys or actually make you guys paddle a little harder?
It's normal, but it's good to attract people's attention.
Oh, it's like anime, like Japanese anime,
Yeah.
like Anya. It's like have the theme of it. It's about like peaceful in the world.
It's our first time to get in this competition because we're young and our first time. Yeah. How do you feel?
I'm very excited, and also like I love the atmosphere in here. Like we all dress up in our costumes, our fruits, we have pigs and all that stuff.
Wacko wacko, Mile Sky,
The Hong Kong Tourism Board hoped that the Hong Kong International Dragon Boat Races, the world's most historical dragon boat competition, would draw international attention to Hong Kong and also continue to pass on heritage and culture while attracting more visitors to the territory.
The most important thing is to tell the world that we are back. Okay, we're back on the international scene, and also Hong Kong is definitely a world-class destination. And for everyone to come here, there are so many things to do and so many different events, including the Dragon Boat.
We will now present the awards for the winning teams of the International Open Grand Championship.
The International Dragon Boat Races illustrates Hong Kong's leading role as a center for international sporting events. I look forward to sharing more of our city's festivities with you.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Remember to watch the flag raising ceremony at 8 a.m. tomorrow to celebrate the 26th anniversary of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region's establishment.
The government and different sectors of the community will organize an extensive range of exciting activities for members of the public to share the joy of Hong Kong's return to the motherland. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful weekend.
Good night.